In 1895, a newspaper editor in Missouri sat down and wrote a letter about black women. He wrote that they had no morals, that they were thieves and liars. He was answering a woman who had been touring Britain, telling audiences the truth about lynching in America, and he wanted her discredited. He put it in writing. He signed it. Copies of that letter went out to black women's clubs across the country, and the response was not a rebuttal. It was an institution. On July 24, 1896, at the 19th Street Baptist Church in Washington, D.C., two national organizations merged into one. The National Association of Colored Women. Look at who was in that building. Mary Church Terrell, who would be elected its first president. Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, the poet, then in her 70s. Ida B. Wells-Barnett, who had already been driven out of Memphis for reporting on lynching. Margaret Murray Washington, Victoria Earl Matthews, Josephine Salone Yates, and Harriet Tubman. Tubman was in her 70s by then. She had already done the thing history remembers her for, decades earlier. She came anyway. She was still working. They chose 4 words as the motto: lifting as we climb. Read that again, because people quote it without hearing it. It is a rule about obligation. It says you do not get to rise alone. Your ascent is only real if it raises somebody behind you. Now understand what Terrell was carrying into that room. She was born in Memphis in 1863 to parents who had been enslaved. Her father became one of the first black millionaires in the South. She had a degree from Oberlin at a time when almost no American woman of any color had one, and she spoke French, German, and Italian. She could have lived a quiet, comfortable life. Then in 1892, a friend of hers named Thomas Moss was lynched in Memphis. He ran a grocery store. His crime was that the store competed with a white one. That killing is the same one that turned Ida B. Wells from an editor into an investigator. It sent Terrell to the White House with Frederick Douglass to demand Benjamin Harrison say something publicly about lynching. He would not. So she stopped asking. What the NACW built was not symbolic. Kindergartens, because black children were shut out of the ones that existed. Night schools, mothers' clubs, homes for the elderly, anti-lynching campaigns, suffrage organizing, at a time when white suffrage groups were happy to take black women's labor and leave them out of the photograph. About 5,000 members in 1897, about 100,000 by 1924. And Terrell did not stop there. In 1950, at 86 years old, she walked into a segregated restaurant in Washington and was refused service. She sued, she picketed, she sat in. 3 years later, the Supreme Court ruled those DC segregation laws still stood, and the restaurants had to serve her. She died in 1954, 2 months after Brown versus Board. She had lived from slavery to that ruling. One editor wrote a letter meant to humiliate a whole population of women. They answered by organizing 100,000 of them. Sankofa Daily. Sources in the description. Follow and take one more back with you.